In the U.S., a House committee has released more files from the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation. They include tens of thousands of pages along with several videos. Today, survivors and government officials are reacting to what they're seeing. We also heard from U.S. President Donald Trump.
So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein whatever. Sir, I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going.
The CBC's Mark Harkisol is following the story and joins us now. So, Mark, what have we learned so far from this latest document release?
That's really interesting, Andrew, because it really depends on who you talk to. On the one hand, you have President Trump, who says we've given you pretty much everything there is to give at this point. And then there are several politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, amongst the group who have called for these. And it was a Republican subpoena that had these documents released, who say that this is just a fraction. I heard one politician today say only about 1% of the full documentation on the Epstein case is actually out there. Of the 30,000 pages or so of documents, the various videos and audio recordings released today, some critics are saying that about 97% of it was already publicly available. Only about 3% of it was new. In that new material, what we do know exists are some videos of police interviewing victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We also know that there is now a longer, much longer video of the surveillance from the surveillance camera outside of Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center the day he died on August 9th, 2019. You'll remember the initial release was much shorter than 13 hours like this new one is, and it had 1 minute missing from it, which was the subject of a lot of controversy and speculation online. That 1 minute has been restored in the new release, but it doesn't really provide any new perspective as far as anything untoward happening that night. There's not a lot of new information that really changes the narrative in any way. There's no client list as far as we know in terms of what's in this new release either. So there are a lot of people up there upset, disappointed with what was released today and saying that this is not the full picture. One of those groups that spoke today in a news conference after yesterday's release is World Without Exploitation, part of a group of survivors and advocates calling themselves Stand With Survivors. They have a sort of 3-point call to action. They want to see the release of all of those files unredacted, because there are still some redactions in this latest release. They want a commitment to finding the full truth, unpoliticized, and they say they want no pardon or special treatment for Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, one of the people who spoke in that news conference today is Teresa Helm. She's a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She spoke directly to Maxwell and about Maxwell today.
We've heard her voice. Now hear ours, loud and clear. Systems built with a root of corruption, violence, and deceit always crumble. That time is coming. Your pseudo-power has diminished.
Now, they stand in support with a group of House representatives in the United States, again, from both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans, who are putting forward a discharge petition. This is being co-led by Republican House Representative for Kentucky, Thomas Massey, and Democrat Ro Khanna. They say they need a couple more signatures to get this petition through and hopefully get a full, unvarnished look at the files that exist in the Epstein investigation. We do know that the redactions that exist, according to the Department of Justice, are victims' names and material of child sexual abuse, which they say they will not release publicly. But Ro Khanna, the Democrat co-lead of this petition, says someone else from the House has to come on board, just 2 more people, and they can hopefully get what they want.
There is something that is rotten in Washington. Less than 1% of these files have been released. We are demanding today on the discharge petition that all of the files be released. We know we have 212 Democrats and we have 4 Republicans, courageous Republicans.
And that's sort of where things stand now. We'll wait and see if they get those 2 extra signatures or what else develops from here.
All right, Mark, thank you. The CBC's Mark Harkisol.